Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Well, welcome everyone. Bonjour. Buenas tardes. Good evening. Welcome to our first session here of the Ferrières Insight show. It's going to be a monthly live streaming show in which we will share great insights of global experts and leaders in the world of hospitality, tourism, restaurants, gastronomy, events, and share their passion and know-how with us. We hope that this will help all of you that are listening and watching in your careers as you build your career. You might be students, you might be young professionals that want to move up. You might be high school students considering to join the world of hospitality. All of you, welcome, and particularly welcome to the students at Ferrières that are in Agora, in the 89 Digital Marketing School. Thank you. My name is Willem van Rossem. I will be your host this hour. I'm the manager of the Barcelona campus and of Ferrières Luxury Hotel Management School. And we also in charge of the international partnerships. And I'm very excited to start off this new initiative with two spectacular guests. It's going to be really a clash of the titans. First of all, we have Monsieur Didier Le Calvez from Paris, voted best hotel manager worldwide. Bonjour, Monsieur Le Calvez. Bienvenue, welcome.
Bonjour, Willem. Bonjour.
And bonjour. And we're going to have Don Antonio, Dr. Antonio Hermosilla from Barcelona. Buenas tardes, Don Antonio, who is an expert, amongst others, in meeting and events. So it's going to be worthy of Paris Saint-Germain versus Barça, a clash. But no, it's going to be a very amicable, enjoyable encounter of these two great experts. So I'm really looking forward to that. To all of you who join us online, welcome once again. And you can participate. It's not just passively watching. You can participate by putting your questions in the conversation chat. And also towards the end, we're going to have time available, the last 15, 20 minutes for question and answers. So, yeah. Before we start, I would like to tell you that this show is brought to you once again by Ferrières Hospitality and Luxury Management School in Paris, one of the premier hotel schools here in Europe. And I'm actually today live from Paris, as this week we started our academic year, La Rentrée, with a beautiful ceremony yesterday here in the castle, right in the heart of our campus. And on top of that, today, we had a very historic moment because we signed an agreement, a partnership with the University of St. Joseph, Université Saint-Joseph from Beirut, Lebanon, one of the most prestigious hotel management programs in the Middle East. So we're very excited to start working with them. And actually, we are in the process of writing a lot of partnerships with top schools and universities around the globe, in the United States, in Mexico, in Argentina, in South Korea. So a lot of opportunities for students to have international experiences for them and for us. So it's going to be great. And talking about international experiences, allow me to plug an event that we're going to organize in the Barcelona campus, which is going to be the Barcelona Immersion Winter School by Ferrières. It's going to be January 7th through 14th, in which you'll be able to be, as the title says, to be immersed in Barcelona and really discover the secret sauce, if you will, of its success as a tourist destination, thanks to visits, masterclasses, case studies, all with local experts. So if you want to know more, I put in the show notes, you have a link if you want to find out more about this very exciting program. And now let's move on with the show. Once again, a very well welcome to Monsieur Le Calvez, who is currently president of Once in a Lifetime Hotels, and Dr. Antonio Hermosilla, who is CEO of GP Destination Management. Gentlemen, yes. So let's dive straight into this. How did both of you get into the world of hospitality? What drew you in? Monsieur Le Calvez, if you can start to talk a little bit, what was your path into the world of hotels?
I think Willem is a little bit of an accident. Like for I go back to a certain time, over 40 years ago. My family lived on a small island off the west coast of France called Ile de Ré. Ile de Ré is a bit the Martha Vineyards of France, for those who are knowledgeable with the US. It's an island that is dedicated to tourism with beautiful landscape. And when I was in junior high, I did work during the summer months. And I discovered that hospitality, I discovered the hotel industry, the fact that eventually you can have your own business. And I did find myself very comfortable in that environment. So it's a bit of an accident because my parents used to live at the right place. And I was exposed to beautiful little island. And that's where my enthusiasm came from.
Nice, nice. Good things often happen by accident, right? Yeah, very nice.
In that particular case, yes.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, by the way. I didn't answer you earlier, Willem. I didn't mean to be rude. It's just I didn't want to break the flow. By the way, I'd like to start with a little incisive comment I'd like to make, which I'm sure Monsieur Le Calvez will share with me. I think this particular week, our thoughts and prayers must go to Libya and Morocco, where unfortunately there's been some dreadful events and where very important industries like ours have been deeply affected, but of course, a lot of people have died. I just wanted to bear it in mind and thank you as well as we start. And Dr. Cater, the founder of Groupe Axelis, and yourself, Pierre Frangier, as well, for allowing me to share this wonderful time with Monsieur Le Calvez and this opportunity to talk about our experiences and how we see the industry. In answer to your question, I started like Monsieur Le Calvez by accident. I read humanities. I was living in California doing my postgraduate. And the one advantage I had when I came back to Madrid in 1988 was the fact that I spoke several languages and that I had a really thorough education and that I was exotic. I had been abroad. So I was an exotic piece of person for any team to join. And I joined a hotel company where I worked for 12 years and where I discovered this wonderful industry in which we are. So like I think in a way, Monsieur Le Calvez, by accident, but a wonderful accident that I wouldn't change for anything.
Nice, nice. So perhaps Don Antonio, with you right now, talk a little bit through your career path. So up to where you are today.
As I said, I studied a lot to be an academic. I did a master's, I did a PhD. I went to Oxford University. I was supposed to go another path. And then suddenly I fell into a hotel company, loved it, came for the Olympic Games to Barcelona in 1990. The games were in 1992, as you remember. And then I stayed on and joined 3 different other companies, Barcelona, Occidental, USA. And I worked, of course, at the Palace Hotel, which was then called the Ritz, which is what brought me to Barcelona. Then I founded my company in 2004 after 6 years at TUI Spain. And I joined a company that was a destination management company. And that's what I founded myself. Destination management company is a company that dedicates itself to customized business, congresses, incentives, conferences, meetings. So mostly for corporations or associations. It's the high end, it's the business type of client that we deal with. We do not deal with normal tourism. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years.
Nice, nice. Monsieur Le Calvez, your career path was very different, although of course very international as well. Talk us a little bit through since the Ile de Ré up to now
Well, I clearly go back a little bit longer than Antonio. I graduated in 1973, so we're pretty close to 50 years by now, actually 50 years.
Yes.
When I graduated, you did not have opportunity in Europe. For those of you young students may not realize that we could not even get a working permit to work in England. It was extremely difficult. So I was a night manager at the Hilton in Parc Suffren in Paris. Night manager is a very interesting position because it enables you to be in charge of a hotel. As a youngster, that was something wonderful. And then I realized that in France, regardless, you could not get a job because there were no hotel openings. So therefore, you had to move outside. And very clearly in my mind, I always told myself I wanted to work in Switzerland, which at that time had a very high reputation in the hotel industry. I wanted to work in Japan. Let's keep in mind that 40, 50 years ago, Japan was pushed forwards as a model of management. And I wanted to work in the US. So I went to Switzerland. I did the opening of the Basel Hilton and very quickly found out there was not much to be learned. I elected to
why
go
not,
to...
Monsieur Calvez? Why not? What was...
No, I didn't think it was that different from France, and maybe my comments is not rightfully say. Hilton was you had two international companies at the time, Hilton and Intercontinental. And I was very fortunate because those were the times that you were not regulated by ours. So I used to have three jobs in one day. I was I helped in food and beverage. I was cost controllers. I was night manager again. So I remember we had clocks to punch in, and the director of food and beverage, who came from another country at the time, Mr. Rose, took out all the time clock. So there was no control of times at the Hilton at the time. You will not do that today. Then I was very fortunate with a friend of mine. I went to the Philippines. The Philippines at that time had a number of new hotel openings, and that created a great opportunity for me. I worked at the Manila Hotel, which at the time was the hotel in the Philippines. From the Philippines, the general manager of the Sheraton in the Philippines invited me to go to Korea. So I could not get, believe it or not, a permit to work in Japan, which was my dream. So I got as close as possible to Japan by working in Korea. Very young, you are given opportunity, you work overseas at the time. There were very few French people from Singapore to Korea. Then I saw a company which at the time was very strong in Asia, that was Western International, that became Westin Hotel. So I joined Westin Hotel in Korea after Sheraton. They were kind enough to move me to the US in Dallas in 1982. I had never worked in the US, and then I was promoted as number 2 of one of the new hotels in Dallas with Westin. Then I was promoted to corporate food and beverage with Westin Hotel in Seattle, in a little city called Belmont, where you have a company named Microsoft that most people have heard of.
Rings a bell. Yeah.
From there, I moved on to the Plaza in New York as a manager. Very early, I was in my early 30s. The Plaza Hotel was a wonderful hotel, 800 keys. I think at the time we had 8 restaurants. From the Plaza Hotel, I was approached by Four Seasons. I worked with Four Seasons in 89. I joined the Pierre as a manager, then moved back to Singapore for 2.5 years when we took over Regent Hotel, went back to the Pierre as a general managers, and then I was given the opportunity to open the Four Seasons Georges V, which I did in 98, 99. I was there for 10 years, and then I moved on. I did the Bristol as chief operating officers, the Oetker collection. And then I was a CEO of La Réserve Hotel, and I decided with my wife to go into business on our own. Olivia had built hotel on Ile de Ré in 2003, and we just decided to go on our own. And when we created once in a lifetime, rate management, 3 or 4 companies that are complementary to each other.
Nice. So both of you started, in a variety of hotel operations in chains and groups, and then winded up starting your own business. Perhaps also, Don Antonio, and perhaps also then Monsieur Le Calvez, what is it about having your own business as opposed to working for a big group or another hotel? What are the pros and cons, if you will?
I can only see pros. The cons are very minimal. Sorry, Willem.
No.
Being your own boss, being free, deciding to work if you need to till 11 p.m., taking the Friday off, taking some projects on, taking others off. It's being your own boss. It's amazing. Apart from the fact that I think there is a side to entrepreneurship, which is beautiful. You are creating positions, you're doing things, and this is positive for the economy. It's not an ego trip. You are really helping people in your team, and you're creating things. So it's important. Let me tell you, for example, I circled back in my career 12 years ago when I went back to university as a teacher and as the director of 2 masters at a prestigious university here in Barcelona. I would not have been able to do that had I been 100% dedicated to another company. I was able to do this because it was my company and my company's time, and I could afford to do this. And in fact, ultimately, it was a bit of a savior during the pandemic, because it was the balloon of oxygen we needed to survive, and it came that way. So it's very important to bear sometimes these things. It's a progression, I think, in many people's minds, but I fully understand that people may want to be happy in a company where they are performing and where they're being esteemed and where their goals are met. And therefore, I respect that fully.
Nice. Monsieur Le Calvez, you might have a similar take on the difference or the pros and cons?
No, I would say similar things to Antonio. I think I have been basically 18 to 20 years with Four Seasons, and it was an incredible fulfillment because US and American company gave me opportunity, gave me autonomy. But I think once you have circled it, and it does not apply to everyone, but once you have circled that, once you believe you have achieved certain things, then for certain people, like clearly for Antonio and myself, we want entrepreneurship. And I think it's an additional fulfillment. I have a friend of mine that can say 20 to 30 years in the same hotel. I believe that once you have stayed 10 years in one hotel, it's time to move on. That's my opinion. And I have every respect for people who can say 20 to 30 years. But I think there is a point in life when you have proven certain things to yourself or proven certain things to the industry, you want to take it on as a personal challenge. We only live one time, and you want to have. So there is a downside to being an entrepreneur. It's cash flow.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so that is a downside. You have an incredible freedom. You can do a lot of things, but there is a downside in terms of cash flow. But there is an incredible fulfillment in terms of being your own boss, creating wealth for others, creating job. On our side, as a small company, we have around 75 to 100 employees.
Impressive.
And so you have to meet the payroll monthly.
Yes.
But you are creating an environment for other people to grow. And that is, to me, a great satisfaction. That's a great satisfaction.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, the entrepreneurship is something really that we at our school also try to really, share with our students and bring that sparkle alive of those of them that want to dare to start and build their own businesses, perhaps now or later in their career. Monsieur Le Calvez, you were voted best hotel manager worldwide. So what are the keys of being a good general manager, of being a good leader?
I was voted best general manager because I was at the right place at the right time. It does, you know, you have to take everything with a piece with a piece of salt. I did the opening of the Georges V. The Four Seasons Georges V got incredible recognition because of the building, because of the timing of the opening, because of the people that were around me. So as the hotel was voted best hotel in the world for 8 years in a row, then of course, as a general manager, you get some of that, but you have to be very realistic. I was just at the right place at the right time. I was given an opportunity, and I made the most of it. I think in life you need a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
You need to prepare yourself, and but I believe that they are for sure. I have an incredible respect for quite a number of general managers. They were just not given the same opportunity as I. So therefore, when you are in those places like that, where you get incredible recognition, keep your feet on the ground. Keep your feet on the ground, because that is nice to receive, but you receive it on behalf of the team around you. And in the case of the Georges V, I had an incredible team around me. I think out of the Georges V, you may have around 50 to 100 general managers worldwide today that really took the opportunity to work at the Georges V. And there are all those people who made the Georges V what it is. And obviously, hopefully, you provide good leadership. But when you work for Four Seasons, and when you have a charismatic leader such as Mr. Sharp, and when you look at the layers of Four Seasons, you look at my president at the time, Antoine Corinthios, Wolfgangs, you just have incredible people you look up to. And those people make you better. Yeah. So it just was, you receive an award, but you receive an award for the environment you are evolving into, you're moving into.
Yeah, a hotel is not a one-man show, right? It's really a team effort, right?
It's not only a hotel, but it's a group. In the case of Georges V, it's Four Seasons as much as anyone. And the owners, if I take this opportunity, the owners of Georges V was His Highness Prince Al-Walid, and Prince Al-Walid had an incredible vision for Georges V. So you obviously make it, you make the software work the best it can, but there are many players behind success.
Yeah. Don Antonio, of course, you were also in a leadership position as director of sales at a variety of hotels, like the original Ritz, right, in Barcelona. What is your approach to leadership? What do you think is good leadership all about? What would you add?
My approach to leadership is work through model, be humble, be the first one in the trench, be the last one to leave, and show that this profession is fantastic, that it has incredible opportunities for younger people, even though, for instance, in Spain, but I think in general throughout Europe and the US, after the pandemic, there's been a certain departure of talent. We've lost some talent, but I think there is a lot of opportunities for younger people and to grow fast, particularly if they take an international career. Now, having said that, and the word leadership is used a lot, one of the things I like to think about, which is important, is question the existing values, be critical, and of course, learn from your bosses what you mustn't do. I think the rest is common sense. The rest is be applying the right attitude to the business, to clients, to who provides you for the fuel to keep the hotel and the tourism industry going. And that is our clients. We must never forget them. And I think with a lot of technology and a lot of robots and a lot of artificial intelligence, we might lose some of that. And I hope not, because they are what keeps us going. Yeah. And I think having these ideas in mind, I think then you're exercising leadership truly.
Yeah, true. We'll talk a little bit about the opportunities later on.
Sure.
Going back to the hotels. Both of you have worked or are still working in luxury hotels. How would you define luxury? Monsieur Le Calvez, what does luxury mean to you?
So it's a very wide question you're asking.
Yeah, well, in terms of the hotels, perhaps we can keep it within the hotel.
Yeah. You know, when I'm going to go back a bit in time. In 1979, when I was at the Manila Hotel, the general manager was Mr. Franz Schussmann. And he always referred to Raffles Hotel in Singapore. So I made a point to visit Raffles in Singapore in 1979. By today's standard, it will be at most a 3-star rating, at most. When Four Seasons opened certain hotels that I will not mention in the late 80s, and I went to those hotels, and it was like, wow, one day I hope I can manage a hotel like that. If you go back 10 or 15 years later, and you look at it and you say, wow, the bathroom is not that great, and this is not that great. So luxury evolved. I think today, we have never had as many luxurious hotels as you have. You go back to what Aman Resort did in Thailand with 50 Kills Hotel with Zeka. And today it has become, you have Six Suns, you have independent hotel. I was just today, I started at 5 o'clock in the morning because we're opening a hotel, One Place Vendôme, above the Chopard shop, and that will open on the 24th. If you look at the quality of the bathroom in that hotel, that will be represented by once in a lifetime. It's absolutely incredible. So I think luxury has evolved, you know. I had the privilege of doing a 1 week in Africa with Singita Hotel. Stunning. It is absolutely stunning. But you have such hotel in Tanzania, in everywhere. So to me, if you look at the past, luxury hotels are better than they have ever been. It's all an issue of service. The hardware is there. The hardware is getting better and better. You used a word before about passion. I think a hotel, it's all about what kind of passion that transpires. Because physically, hotels today are better than they ever been. But then when you go to a hotel, what kind of passion do you sense from the employees? And that, to me, this is where luxury is all about.
Yeah, I agree. It's not as much about the hardware, but about the software, if you will, right? The people.
Hardware today is absolutely getting better and better. Just open any magazine, and you look at hotel and you say, "Wow!" And that's a huge improvement, ongoing improvement compared to 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Dr. Hermosilla, what
to me, it's very similar to what Monsieur Le Calvez is saying. I mean, he's got 5 decades of experience in this field, so he's a guru, a master. It's basically quality versus quantity, and it is about sensations. I think sometimes people think luxury is a 5-star in the Champs-Élysées or in Park Avenue, and to me, there is another notion of luxury which can be found in a 4-star hotel or in a good 3-star, and it's the experience you go away with as a client that will allow you to say, what a luxury experience I just had. So it's not with the price, it's more with the experience and the sensations that you go away with, which of course are transmitted, like you said, and Monsieur Calvez, by the passion as well of the staff, of the people who work in it and who transmit their passion for their daily work.
Now, of course, today, a big buzzword is sustainability. It seems, in a way, sustainability and luxury seems to be incompatible, because luxury often is perhaps about over the top sometimes, or excess. I'm now playing a little bit devil's advocate, right? So how do you feel that luxury in a, let's say, in a 5-star setting, how can it be, made manageable and comparable and in with sustainability? Monsieur Calvez, what is your
I
take?
can see Antonio that he's ready to speak, so I'll let it to Antonio to answer first.
I'm going to be the old hotelier again. I think we all say once a hotelier, always a hotelier. Amen. So when I go into a hotel, I look for the dust. I look for the gentleman's smile. So I'm all passionate about what's going on around me. I think sustainability is giving a rough ride to a lot of hoteliers, particularly the luxury ones, and it's unfair because I think in very few years, from what I've read, from what I've heard, from what I've talked about with my GM colleagues in Barcelona and in other cities, there's been a tremendous amount of work to get sustainable programs, and not just with laundry and electricity and water cost savings, but with the whole thing to do with handicapped members of staff, etc., etc., etc. And that is something that is remarkable. I think there's probably not many industries that have done as much. And it's unfair that the luxury end gets the publicity in the press. And I think it's unfair. I think a lot of work has been done. A lot of work has got to be done. But for instance, in my industry, the events industry, with MICE, we have cruise ships. Cruise ships are highly contaminating and polluting. Barcelona is the 4th port of call in the world after the first 3 in Florida. We have an issue, and we have an issue with ecologists, and we have an issue with residents where we have to clean up our act, but it takes a while and it'll take a few years. And it's governments, local governments, states that have to determine what steps to take next. And that does not take just an overnight issue. It takes a lot longer.
I agree. Monsieur Calvez, what would you like to add?
I think it's a huge debate because if you really look at sustainability, and I will go back to what Antonio said, and I cannot agree more. I agree with him. Today we have to ask ourselves a question. In the population growth that we have, we went from 2 billion people at the beginning of last century to 9 billion people today. I was very fortunate to go one time to Africa. And then you have to ask yourself, will your children be able to see that 30 years from now because of the growth? I think everyone today wants to go everywhere in the world. And I'm saying some things that is contrary maybe to the interest of the hotel industry. But I think we have to restrain traveling. It's sustainability to me start from there. Not everyone can do it. I think in life, you need to dream. I went to Africa one time. I went to Latin America one time in all those years. And I think you need to have a dream of places you would like to go, but eventually you will never go. Because if you, and I think we've made it too easy for people to travel everywhere. So to me, sustainability is not how often do you clean your towels and all that per day. That doesn't mean much. I have a small vineyard in Saint-Emilion, and we are bio. And then when you see practices, which are simple, basic practices of picking up plastic and all that, that I believe in. And sustainability in the hotel industry, it's a huge debate on at what time are we going to say that not everyone can go anywhere for a low price? And I think we should preserve the environment by somehow, and it's awful to say, but reducing air travels. It's a very personal opinion that I have.
Okay.
Or if we travel, find a way to traveling. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound very old-fashioned, but traveling by boat and we need to. It's just an idea that I put on the table, but I think we cannot continue to have mass traveling around the world. That's maybe 20, 30 years from now. It will be curtailed, but I think the pace we have, we cannot go on at the pace we're in.
Yes. Well, to think about, right? How to because it's also a touchy subject. Who can and cannot travel, right? Who am I to stop you from going, or how can we make that fair? You know, as you said, people that have dreams or want to go to places, how to restrain them, but also make it fair and equal, right? For not only that the happy few perhaps can go everywhere and the rest might not.
Willem, I'm not referring to that happy few. I just think it's the general comments in general. I think that we made it very easy to go from Europe to the end of the world every winters and things like that. They're not necessarily the happy few. We make it inexpensive traveling. I just think we will have to have more discipline, every one of us, as to how we travel.
Yeah. True. Antonio, if I may switch gears a little bit, you of course were in the world of events. How important are, because we've talked a lot about hotels, but in terms of events, how important are meetings and events for destinations like Paris, like Barcelona? And particularly, it's interesting because during COVID, often it was said, well, might be the end of meetings as we know it, but it seems that the event industry is roaring back after 2021-22. So what is the importance of the meeting industry today, and how do you see it as we move forward?
I think, and it's not because I'm biased because of my profession and my company, but I think Monsieur Le Calvez will understand where I come from. People need to share knowledge. They need to educate themselves. You need to launch products, and you need to keep the economy moving. And events help a lot to do that. There are hotels in Barcelona, and I think in Paris and in London and in Berlin, but I can only talk really with facts in my hands. Hotels, 5-star hotels of 450 rooms with a lot of meeting space, over 2,000 square meters, that have 40% of their business being MICE, 40% being, they call it groups. You need the F&B, you need the meeting space, and of course you need the nice rate of the bedroom. So I think it's back to stay for one reason. The pandemic, just like university and other activities, it was useful to see how video conferencing and Teams and the way today we are meeting can be facilitated. However, it does not substitute a good meeting, a face-to-face. And that is vital. We human beings, and particularly us Europeans and Mediterraneans, but in the US they meet very often and for associations, etc. A lot of people need to meet and need to launch products, etc. A lot of people don't know, but the city where most people meet in the world throughout the year is Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not just gaming. It's a lot of meeting space in a lot of their big grand hotels of 2,000 bedrooms. Now, I think of the many hotels Monsieur Le Calvez mentioned, all of them had meeting space and all of them needed that revenue in order to make the numbers they do make. And I think it's an important part of our business that is here to stay. It's not going to go. We've learned from the pandemic. We now have hybrid meetings. We have different formats, but it's not going to substitute doctors, engineers, mathematicians meeting and being able to share experiences, networking, promoting themselves. There are several elements that are important to meetings.
Monsieur Le Calvez, you want to add something to?
No, Willem, I could not agree more. I go basically every year to Las Vegas. There is a major convention that is called Virtuoso, that is all travel agent. And there is no equivalent to one-on-one meeting in that particular case, or to a meeting with the speakers. I think whenever you're exposed to major speakers in any field of the industry, it's a privilege. And I think Visio, as we do it today, has its limit. It's very convenient, and I hope that the audience enjoy it. But I think there is one-on-one meetings that are There is no substitute for it. So I could not agree more with what Antonio has just been saying.
Yeah.
You mustn't forget. Sorry, Willem.
No.
Formula One, Roland Garros, the concerts we've had this year. We've had Coldplay, Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce. These are events of a kind, a musical event, a sports event. Barca playing every week.
Antonio, between Beyonce and Springsteen, who do you prefer?
Good question.
Coldplay, that they came as well. But what I'm saying is it's an amazing year. You should have seen the hotels were practicing high rates. They were all full. The restaurants were full. It was an incredible atmosphere in town. It was the place to be. It's amazing if you are in the tour or if you're not in the tour. So Formula One, this year, we have this month coming, America's Cup. The America's Cup is the most important yachting event, like the Ryder Cup. Better to have them than not to have them. And those are all types of events. Of course, you accumulate them, and a city like Paris, a city like Berlin, a city like London or Barcelona are big event cities.
Yeah. The Olympics as well coming up next year, right? In Paris.
You've got the Olympics next year in Paris, of course. Then you've got the World Cup in soccer. That's the events. And then the third one is the America's Cup. That's the series of events in terms of millions of revenue and exposure, and in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, both as we come to also go towards the end of our, and because I want to open up the floor also in a bit for the students and other people that here are with us. You both of you have been very, very successful in your careers. There might be students or people that are considering going into hospitality. What piece of advice can you give them? What kind of, first of all, what kind of person would thrive in the world of hospitality in restaurants? What kind of attitude? What kind of person? How would you describe the profile of someone who will thrive and be successful and happy in the world of hospitality, hotels, restaurants, events? Monsieur Le Calvez.
William, I think that it's true in the hotel and restaurant business. I think it's true everywhere. You have to be curious, high energy. In our business, you have to be it's a high energy. I think the opportunities that the hotel industry provide you in a single day, you're going to talk to a room attendant, you're going to talk to a steward, as you may discuss with the prime minister. And I think that makes a very rich life because you always have your feet on the ground through the people that you meet, sometimes in a negative way. I mean, in an unpleasant way. You may have someone who has personal issues that they share with you. And then obviously the opportunity of the hotel industry, you are meeting people that you will normally not meet. You will not meet, they will not speak to you. But then from the moment they come to your hotel, you develop relationships that makes you a better person. And you're exposed to people that make you a better person. So to me, it's an incredible industry from the standpoint that you have a huge spectrum of relationship on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're a people industry, right? It's all about human connections. Yeah.
But
Don Antonio.
People meaning employees and guests.
And guests, both. Yes. Don Antonio.
I fully agree with Monsieur Le Calvez. I would only add, you need passion, you need curiosity, you need persistence. There are long days. You need to work some Saturdays and Sundays. Don't worry about it. You will learn a lot. You learn a lot at a wedding on a Saturday or a Sunday, and that will be something that will come through. It's a very rewarding profession or field because of the economy, because you're in contact with people, and as Monsieur Le Calvez said, the range of people is from A to Z. And that is very enriching.
Yeah.
If you're interested in learning about yourself, it'll be important as well, because you will find out about yourself, your tolerance. You should have tolerance for failure. You mustn't be afraid of failing. You mustn't be afraid of not getting a position. You will get it some time later. You just need to be persistent and resilient.
Yeah.
And I think the ex-king of Spain said it. You would be joining a fantastic industry, the industry of peace. This is very important to remember. We're not making chemicals. We're not making bombs. We're making people's dreams come true. We're making people happy. And that is very important to bear in mind, because the price of that is limitless, you know, the industry of peace.
Well, nicely said. Very nice, Antonio. Yeah. My last question, of course, we talked a little about the pandemic, and because of that, some people fear that there might be no future for the hospitality industry. So is there a future, right, for young people who are considering going into hospitality? What do you think? What is your take on the state of hospitality industry, and what are perhaps the opportunities, or if they are? Are you positive?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely positive. I think today I see the opportunities that industry has given me. Yeah. And I was very fortunate. I did seek opportunity, and the company I work for gave me opportunities that I was looking for. And actually, opportunity went faster than expected. But I think today you have more opportunities than you ever had, because I interview every employee that work for me, and including at the Georges V. And from the moment someone step into your office and you see all the qualities Antonio mentioned about passion, about a certain charismatic personality, enthusiasm, then those people today have even more opportunities than before, because there are so many choices of places to work. And so you have an incredible amount of places that are absolutely incredible in various destinations. You have tremendous companies to work for. So yeah, no, it's a tremendous job. The work conditions have also worked. It's still long hours. Yes, it is potentially Saturday and Sundays, but it's, as we said earlier, it's very rewarding. But to me, in my opinion, there are more opportunity today than you have ever had in that industry.
Antonio? I agree with Monsieur Calvez. I would say that I think people have to focus on attitude rather than aptitude only. They have to focus on certain healthy ambitious plan. You know, where do they want to get to? Because these days you have more opportunities than we ever had. For me to get my scholarship to go to the US, to get my papers, etc., was very difficult. So the times have changed. It is truly possible to have an international career at a very early age. And I think this is a privilege that people are in, and particularly in our field.
Nice. Thank you very much. I would like to see if there are any. I would like to. We have 11 more minutes. So I would like to open the floor also to our audience, whether they are here at Ferrières. Or if you want to put your question in the chat, or if you want to open up your microphone and ask something to these wonderful experts with so much wisdom and insight. So it's a unique moment for all of you, for all of us. So please feel free to share your questions or concerns, observations, comments that they might be able to answer. Through. Okay, there's one question here. what kind of background do the people have that you hire in your firms? What are you? Well, it's a little bit what you answered already, but can you perhaps be more specific on certain qualities or experiences or things that they? What do you recommend the students, right? To focus on perhaps on certain languages or certain experiences, certain knowledge. What can you recommend?
William, I think you look at Ferrières, and not to flatter you, but it's a great school.
Thank you.
And you have others. That's not the only one. But Ferrières is a great school. But I think I know what I'm looking for. It's all about attitude and personality. Yeah. I think you look at the good backgrounds, but I think the beauty of the hotel industry is that it gives opportunity to people who have not necessarily learned the hotel industry. But what is the most important, it's all about attitude. We can teach a lot of things within our hotels. Yeah. What we cannot teach people is attitude. No. So to me, it's first and fundamental is the DNA of a person is the attitude. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, there are other things, language and those. Yeah. But to me, language skill today is not that relevant because everyone speaks English anyhow. So, but it's really all about attitude as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, good. I see some more questions here. How is it? What do you recommend to inspire your people? How that they are passionate and committed? Because if they are not very, if they are down, how can you motivate, create drive in your people when they are perhaps not in a good spot? How do you deal with those kind of situations and employees?
I think
how to drive and motivate them?
Let Antonio answer that. I think it's a very general question that is being asked. But I think our job is to help employees through adversity. And that's also makeup of life. Antonio was discussing there's not such a thing as failure. I think no one can say that all your life has always been upwards. You always have downtime. You have to accept that. You cannot say, I'm going to work for 30, 40 years and I've never done time. So it's how do you bounce back from downtime? And that's also the makeup of an individual. Failure has to be accepted, but I think you have to believe in yourself. You have to have a high level of integrity. You have to have your own personal objective and do the best you can. What I have observed is that if you do the best you can, eventually you're being recognized. But there is no one that does not want to give an opportunity to someone with a valuable asset and a good employee. So sometimes people may not exactly see what you're doing, but in due times it comes through. So don't if you're doing a good job day after day, good things will happen.
So true, so true. But Antonio, you want to add something?
Basically agree with Monsieur Le Calvez. We had changing the profile of the dossiers you deal with. You do an incentive, then you do a meeting, then you do a conference. The work is never boring, and no group, no program is ever the same. So you're not, doing A to Z every day. Yeah. We have a bonus scheme as well. We have activities once a month with our staff, Friday drinks, winners of dinner for two, whatever. Nice. Things that are supposed to keep you going and thinking that the company cares about you. Yeah. And that is important and you're valued. Yeah. And basically monitoring everyone carefully, because we all go through down times and we just have to get up again and keep going. And it's part of life. Not everything is happy-go-lucky, Oh. We have to get used to that. Yeah. It's like a relationship. It's like most things in life, it's ups and downs.
Yeah. I have a question for Monsieur Le Calvez. How long do you recommend someone to be a hotel manager before becoming GM? Do you recommend to people to be in rooms or in another? What kind of is a good pathway to become a GM? What do you recommend, Monsieur Le Calvez?
It's really It's a good question, Willem, but there is not a single answer to answer it. I think it's an issue of personality. In my time, food and beverage was very much valued. More difficult than rooms, but very much value. Today, I will be more balanced into what I said. I think you had a question that was not raised about technology.
Yeah.
I think the profile of general manager of tomorrow is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I think general managers need to have incredible people skill. That was not as important 30 or 40 years ago, because 30 or 40 years ago, you were a very good technician and good relationship, and you were making it. I think today, in the environment we are, human resources, people skill are very important. I think general manager today need to be very astute in terms of sales and marketing. So I think the job has become more complex. Mm-hmm. And then you can be either food and beverage, either rooms. But I think more importantly, you need to be business savvy, good people skill, and be open to new technology.
Yeah. If I quickly ask about technology, what do you feel? You talk a lot about artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, etc. How do you think this is going to impact our industry today? And how can we prepare for that?
I think it is already impacting it today.
Yeah.
The way you're being perceived on social network is important. I still believe in my field, but I think Antonio is probably the same. I let him speak. That personal relationship is very important. Why is a major group going to book with Antonio? Because they trust him. Or why is he going to? Because it's so important that the people who book an event, they invest money, and they need to make sure that it's reliable partners on the other side. Individual business is the same. Why do travel agents trust you, do business with you? Because they trust you. They know when they put their clients in your hotel, you're going to take care of them. So there is still an old-fashioned way of doing business that is working still very well today. Having said that, you cannot ignore social medias and all that new perimeters that we did not have 20 years ago. 20 years ago, when I was when we opened the Georges V, we were one of the first hotels to pay attention to TripAdvisor. And many hotels were looking at TripAdvisors with, wow, what do they know? And look at today, you cannot ignore TripAdvisors and Google search and all of that. And so, yeah, it's a changing world. But still, I believe in old-time relationship.
Mm-hmm. Last question here. What we touched a little bit on it, but perhaps you want to elaborate. What do you think will be the future of luxury tomorrow?
Antonio, maybe you may want. I can answer it, but Antonio, if you have spoken twice.
Go ahead first, Monsieur Calvez, please.
I think luxury is, as I said earlier, to me, I look at hotel today as incredible property. I think luxury are moving toward luxury is moving in the right direction. That people, if I just make it as a general statement, I think you had great hotel in the past that, in my opinion, were pretentious. Mm-hmm. I think luxury is finding the right balance between answering customers' need, the need for privacy of certain clients, the way to approach certain clients. I think luxury is more balanced. In our case, in the case of once in a lifetime, we believe in small property. That's our market. We believe in property going from 10 to 50 keys. There are market for others, but that's not our field. Our field is small property, because we believe that since September 11, people are looking at more confidential place, more privacy. Many people do not want to be seen. And many people want to be in hotels that have a human scale. Having said that, when I go to Las Vegas and I say at the Bellagio in general, I'm astonished by the level of service. And it's a 2,000 to 5,000 key hotel, and they do it remarkably well. remarkably well. So in our case, once in a lifetime, small size property, where we have really hopefully a very high-end personalized service. But I also believe that you have 5,000 key hotels that do a superb job. So no, luxury is getting better and better. It's getting better and better.
Good. Don Antonio?
I think Monsieur Le Calvez covered the hotel part.
Yeah.
All I can say about my part of the industry, we consider ourselves to be a boutique DMC. And that is what we want to keep. I can't say what I mean by that because this would be revealing my Coca-Cola formula.
Yeah.
But basically, it's very focused on the client, and the client. And we must never forget that because they're the ones to bring us the revenue and we want them to return here to the destination, to the city, to the country, and to the hotel. And therefore, that we must never forget.
Fully agree. Okay. As we come at 7 o'clock,
I think he pressed out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, as we come to an end, it's 7 o'clock, so it's a good time. So first of all, I want to thank, of course, Monsieur Le Calvez and Dr. Antonio Hermosilla for their participation in our first Ferrières Insight. Thank you very much, and I thank all the audience as well to be with us. Just to let you know, for those of you that are in the Paris region, bravo, yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, well done.
We can hear them, yes.
Yes, excellent. Just like to say that on October 14th, we were going to have an open house event here in Ferrières from 10 to 2. If you want to know more about our programs at bachelor and master and pastry training. So please look up at our website. We'll put the link in the chat if you want to register for that. And we will be back with an online Ferrières Insight on November 18th at 6 p.m. again, Paris time, Barcelona time. So mark your calendars. We will send out again also, of course, links and invitations. So please join us again. Thank you very much for your attention. And we hope to see you here at Ferrières, Hospitality and Luxury Management School. Be excellent, act to impact, and to make this world a better place. Thank you very much to all of you. And we look forward to see you soon, whether it's online or here in Ferrières campus in Paris and Barcelona. Thank you very much all.
Thank you. Merci.
Merci. Muchas gracias.
A ti.
Dankjewel.
Gracias.
Gracias a ti, Antonio.